We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5-Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 or visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
We now take you live
To the Central Texas Command Center.
in the heart of the resistance. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
The Drudge Report is valiantly, because these are hardcore articles and videos, has linked to 3 different articles in the last almost 4 days. Well, I guess Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday, 3.5 days. World's pilots reject naked body scanners over radiation danger, privacy. That's prisonplanet.com. Steve Watson. The other one, TSA groping out of control. Everything you need to know about the security takeover and why airport oppression is already being rolled out on the streets. And I've read most of this article. I think the key here is, Watson, and I've read most of it, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going back to Beth in a moment, Paul Watson that wrote this story today. Well, I wrote it with him. He did most of the work. Paul Joseph Watson and Alex Jones Report. And this is kind of the TSA takeover for dummies. This is what you send to your friends, your family, your neighbors. The key is, and the point I didn't make this morning, and I don't know if you can add it or if it's there and I missed it, is that they do, and this is, you can also Google this and pull it up, where woman made to lift dress. You'll see a bunch of reports on it. That this has been going on for over a year. Now they say it's just going to be done to basically everybody. It's being rolled out. It's always intensifying. It's their will against ours. They're trying to break our will, train us to do this in the name of safety. That they make women raise their dresses in front of everyone, not just the opt-out to humiliate you, but also drop the drawers, lift the dress. I mean, literally women in thongs. Me and Aaron, and again, they wouldn't let us videotape it, obviously, when I was at the airport. I was watching, women partway bring their dress up and so they could look and kind of embarrassed, but in some cases they make them go all the way up. Let's add that point of how they try to psychologically humiliate you in your TSA groping out of control article. But how exciting is this, Watson, that Drudge has always been outraged by this, and he has the biggest website in the world when it comes to news and literally sets the news agenda. Everybody's been mad about this for years, but now it's breaking out into the mainstream, and this story is on fire. When I tune into local talk radio, they're talking about it. When I tune into national, they're talking about it. We have done this with the listeners, with your work, with Kurt's work, Steve's work, Aaron's work, my crew's work, and teaming up with Drudge. How exciting is this, Watson?
Well, it's important, Alex, because most of Drudge's readers are what you would call traditional conservatives, some libertarians, but mainly conservatives. And they have completely ignored the outrage surrounding airport security because they bought the false paradigm that it was all directed towards terrorists. But of course now, with the multitude of examples of these security procedures being abused, especially targeting people like, physically disabled people, pregnant women, the elderly, it just goes to show that it's all directed towards the American people, and the sooner that conservatives realize that and start to stand up against it, the better, and that will
Did you add the point I gave you about the MIAC report that this is for the American people?
I mentioned that it was for the American people, yeah.
Okay, because I only could scan over it during the break. Do you have the point about the public humiliation? Not just the screaming opt-out, but the making women raise their dresses?
Well, yeah, you'll remember the case as far back as 2002 where the pregnant woman was there with her husband and she was made to bare her breasts right in front of everybody else while they...
Oh, yeah, that was in California. That was in San Francisco.
And the husband complained, and he was thrown in the airport jail.
Oh, that's right.
That goes back.
Okay, so that is in the report. That is in there.
Yeah.
Okay, good job, Watson. Explain that it's public humiliation. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks.
You bet. Paul, great guy. Paul's getting married next week. I got to send him a wedding gift for him and his wonderful wife-to-be, his betrothed. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to shut up and try to get back to your calls. Beth, just briefly, so you're there, you're wearing hose, and you said they were not opaque, so I guess that means that they were see-through or weren't see-through?
They were like dark black, but they were see-through. They weren't opaque.
Okay, so describe what happened to you.
So I was standing in the line, and the lady pulled me aside and told me that I had been randomly chosen to step into the scanner. And I asked her if it was one of the scanners that made people look, naked. And she said, well, yes, ma'am, it takes you to the first layer of clothes.
Yeah, that's not true. It takes you right down to your genitals, but go ahead.
Yeah, and she said, but you're not required. You can opt out of it if you want. And I said, well, I'm not stepping into it. And she pulled me aside to be wanded and searched. And she never told me, let's go to a private area or anything like that. I was just pulled aside to be wanded and searched. And so as I'm standing there, she said, oh, you have on tights. I need you to lift your dress so I can check the waistband. And so I'm standing there next to these lines of people going through security with my dress lifted up and her rummaging around my waistband. And, I was trying to, kind of shield my back to as many people as I could, but I was sitting there wondering, is this intentional? Like, are you trying to embarrass me because I didn't go into the scanner? And, I was pretty much appalled, and people were walking by looking at me like, poor woman, and I just felt like it was a intentional public humiliation.
Beth, what is it like for you to know that a real terrorist could go rent an airplane right now with no security and fly it in any building they wanted? It's totally made up. It's for the general public to be trained. And what is it like for you to know that the top al-Qaeda operative is CIA and meets secretly at the Pentagon, Fox News, AP?
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we are all unaware of that's pretty scary. And I feel like as a I'm 50 years old. I'm a white woman. I don't think that I appear to be any threat to anybody.
Yeah, but notice that's what they do. They say, oh, we don't discriminate, so even if you believe it's supposedly Muslims, well, then that's who gets searched. No, it's everybody. That's the fake liberalism because it's for the American people. Beth, anything else?
No, I'm glad you're covering the topic because I thought I was an isolated incident.
No. Now it's going to be rolled out for everyone. They're now saying in the USA Today, in LA Times, I read them all yesterday. I'll go back over them later. They're saying that now on top of the scanners, they're going to do this. God bless you. I appreciate your call, Beth. And I think it's important for all victims of this to shoot your own YouTube videos. And if you don't know how, get your neighbor to shoot one and upload it. I mean, kids know how to do it. It's very easy to do. Just use the webcam and tell your story. Don't say your name. Put a photo of the TSA up if you don't want your face seen. And everybody should put up YouTube videos and write articles about what you went through. Because everybody thinks they're alone. Everybody thinks that we're alone in waking up to the New World Order when the majority of people are awake now. We are the majority. We are the sane ones. We're taking this country back. Tim, Justine, Kyle, Robert, all of you. When you hear a caller hang up, it's your chance to call in. 1-800-259-9231 with your story of TSA fondling and sexual assault. And that's what it is. It's sexual assault. That's not an extreme term for it. Somebody grabs your genitals, and again, people describe it in these news articles like being lifted up. They just, Men describe it as painful. Let's go to Tim in Florida. Tim, what happened to you?
Hey, Alex, thank you for taking my call. Hey, just to let you know, last Monday, I was flying from Jacksonville, Florida to Nashville, stop over in Atlanta. And what happened to me was simple. You know how you take your shoes off, your belt, everything, you put them in those trays, and then there's a guy there to direct you to where you're supposed to go. And they had two type of machines. One looked like a metal detector, and then there's the other one. It's like a Star Trek thing where it's like a circular thing.
Yeah, the naked body scanner.
Right. That's the
high-powered unit. That's the one with 50 times the radiation they'd previously claimed. The other has 20.
Right. Well, what happened was he directed me. He didn't say which one of the two directions to go in, but I just said I'm not going through that because it just didn't look right. I was familiar with the other one because I go into courthouses all the time for the metal detector, but I just told him I'm not going there. And he yelled out. You said opt out, but his words were, "We have a refusal," and he yelled it out really loud.
We have a refusal.
Right, exactly.
And the news describes that regular cops will run up and they're all, we got one that won't submit to the naked body scan. We lied. We do save the images. We've got to really let him know. So what happened?
So at that point, he said, just stand here. So there's two guys that are inside there. They're just standing there. And I'm thinking, well, maybe they're the ones that are going to assist me to take care of whatever they're going to do. And they just stood there, and I sat there for about 3 or 4 minutes. I'm wondering, well, and I finally asked the guy, is something going to happen here? What's going on? And he says, you just have to wait, really rude. And so finally, the guy waves to me. So I started going through, and he puts me on one of those grill mats. There's like honeycomb mats that you see in restaurants with the cooked pork on. And there's these two footprints that are on there. And it's just after you pass through these machines.
No, I know. I've seen them. So what happened next?
So I stood there, and of course he was very polite. The black gentleman who did do the search of me, he was very polite.
The Nazis were very polite too. Go ahead.
He was polite in the sense he told me everything he was going to do. But I will say this: he definitely touched me everywhere on me and everywhere. And I was amazed that and right in front of everybody, like the other lady was saying, they don't even take you to a back room. So my question is, what can we request to go to a back room? And number two, I saw someone give this testimony. I was going through Atlanta. And as I was walking with my luggage, I saw a room, an opening of a room, and the pilots were coming through. And I noticed there was one of those metal detectors, but there was not one of these scanners for the other.
Yeah, but now they're phasing it in for them. You need to just say no. You need to contact the airlines, your Congress people, and say, look, I'm not flying anymore, and we sure don't want these on the streets of America. I appreciate your call, Tim. Justine in Illinois, what happened to you?
Hello?
Yes, Justine, welcome.
Well, thank you for taking my call. I'm, first of all, going to apologize. My heart is flying out of my chest. I want you to be, thank you so much for being so compassionate about this issue. I flew last Monday, November 2nd, Tuesday, actually. It was the 2nd.